Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles. Today's video, once again, sponsored by Audible. As always, you can start listening with a 30-day Audible trial. You get one audiobook and full access to the Plus catalogue absolutely free. Visit audible.com/jingles or text jingles to 500 500. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of today's battle, starring Sleepo Beepo here in the German Tier 10 destroyer, the Z-52, I wanted to take some time to give you my recommendation on what to spend this month's free Audible credit on. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of James Hornfisher's World War II Pacific books, but don't worry, plenty more great historical audiobooks where those ones came from. This month I'm recommending part 1 of the 3-part volume by James Holland, entitled The War in the West, Germany Ascendant, 1939 to 1941. In this volume, Holland presents a fairly compelling argument that even if you don't agree with, it'll definitely make you think about the myth of German invincibility in the first year of World War II. Holland argues that Blitzkrieg as we know it is a myth, and reveals that the picture looked very different in 1939. In advance of its Polish offensive, Germany was short on resources, tanks and trained soldiers. Meanwhile, France had more men in uniform than Germany, better tanks, and Britain had the best navy in the world. The invasions of Poland and France were, according to Holland, incredible gambles, and Hitler's initial successes would mask some very hard truths, those truths being that Germany was in no way prepared for war. Whether or not you agree with Holland's analysis is entirely up to you, but I definitely recommend reading his analysis anyway. Because much like other historians whose work I really enjoy, people like James Hornfisher, people like Max Hastings, none of these historians started off as historians. James Hornfisher was a literary agent, Max Hastings was a journalist, and James Holland was a very successful novelist. And that means they all have one thing in common. They all know how to write. Sadly, not all proper historians can say that. Often what they write, while impeccably researched, is incredibly dry and hard to read. That's why I have no hesitation whatsoever recommending that you spend December's free Audible credit on the audiobook version of James Holland's War in the West. Remember, you can start listening with a free 30-day Audible trial. You get one audiobook and full access to the Plus catalogue absolutely free. Just visit www.audible.com/jingles or text jingles to 500 500. So, anyway, Sleepo Beepo in the Z-52. He's obviously trying to put some pressure on Cap Point Charlie here. Unfortunately, he didn't dare get too close because of the Des Moines. He requested fire on the Des Moines. The team obliged, but they couldn't sink it. Then the Harugamo popped up. He requested fire on the Harugamo, but the team couldn't oblige because the Harugamo's in cover. The friendly Baltimore did radar him, but it's not a complete waste of a radar because it has forced him out of the cap circle, and he is being attacked by the carrier. But Sleepo Beepo definitely does not want to get into a gunfight with an Harugamo. And he's now gone undetected anyway. One of the good things about the Z-52, and it's not a particularly popular Tier 10 destroyer, it's generally considered to be the, if not the, then one of the weakest of the bunch. But one of the strengths of the Z-52 is the fast reloading torpedoes. Not as fast as the pan-European Tier 10, the Halland, and they're not as fast as the torpedoes on the Halland, but they're pretty quick. And they hit 50% harder. And that poor old Des Moines picked the wrong moment to come out from behind the island. He's not even going to see the torpedoes thanks to the Harugamo's smokescreen. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a kill. And it is. Well, that is great news. That's the enemy team's only radar, and it's gone. That is a fantastic start for a destroyer. Now, going for that cap circle is going to be not completely safe. There's still Harugamo in there. And there he is. Spotted again. But it's going to be a lot less risky than it was with a radar cruiser parked behind an island just a couple of kilometres away. He's going to go for it. You still probably don't want to get into a gunfight with the Harugamo. Just going one-on-one in the Z-52 in a gunfight with the Harugamo is by no means a guaranteed win. And the Harugamo also has some friends over there who would almost certainly get involved too. Now he's running his hydro. This is one of the strong points of the Z-52. German hydro. On the Z-52, it will spot torpedoes from 4 kilometres away And he's keeping the Harugumo spotted because it will spot ships from 6 kilometers away. Okay, that's unlucky. He's gotten spotted by the Jean Bart. I think he was hoping that the Harugumo smokescreen would keep him hidden from the Jean Bart, but, well, it didn't, so he's had to use his own. But that's fine. He's not detected. Unfortunately, those torpedoes are almost certainly not going to hit anything. And again, the Harugumo's in a very, very good spot. Because right now, the only person that can actually shoot him, and I'm not even sure he can shoot him. Oh, he can! He can get shots over the top of the island. Not many. Is it going to be enough to force the Harugumo away? Because he is capping. Yep, the Harugumo's bugging out. Okay, this is an excellent start. He's got the cap. Awesome. And he did it without taking any damage. And managed to nail the enemy's radar cruiser into the bargain. Meanwhile, the battle has been raging on elsewhere, although the team are in a pretty good spot because they've got 2 caps to the enemy's 1. Unfortunately, while both teams have lost the same number of ships, 2 cruisers and a battleship, and in fact the enemy team have just lost another cruiser, so hooray. The friendly Tirpitz has just taken out the enemy Zhao, so that's fantastic news. Unfortunately, the 2 cruisers that Sleepo Beepo's team have lost are the Baltimore and the Talon, and those are the team's 2 radar cruisers, so neither team has any radar at the moment. Well, it's not just at the moment, neither team are ever going to have any radar. It's not like ships randomly sprout radar antenna halfway through a battle or anything, is it? Neither team have radar at the moment. Yeah, poor choice of words. Anyway, neither team have radar. You know what I mean. Meanwhile, Sleepo Beepo has managed to get the torpedoes reloaded. Again, one of the strengths of the Z-52. The quick torpedo reload. 1.5 minutes. Not as fast as the Halland, but faster than anybody else. Torpedoes not aimed at anything in particular, but he knows there's a couple of enemy ships behind that island, and you never know, he might get the Harugumo. Although it's possible, because somebody's flipping capture point Alpha, that might be the Harugumo. Actually, no, it's the enemy mines, so the Harugumo could still be down there. And in fact, somebody is flipping Charlie back, so that's almost certainly the Harugumo back up to his old tricks. Now, up until now, Sleepo Beepo has pretty much been single-handedly, with some assistance from the carrier, defending Capture Point Charlie against the remainder of the enemy team. Now, I don't want to say that the rest of the team clustered around Capture Point Delta haven't been doing anything useful, because they absolutely have. They're in the process of flipping Capture Point Delta, and they've sunk 4 enemy ships. Unfortunately, this is where Sleepo Beepo has a little bit of an embarrassing problem. It's not a problem that destroyer captains often have in World of Warships, but it's definitely one that Sleepo Beepo is having today. His team are too keen to help. Look, they've forgotten to finish flipping Capture Point Delta. They're so keen to get down here and help Sleepo Beepo's one-man show, some of them have left the capture point. Others have given their position away by shooting at the enemy ships and therefore attracting return fire and having their capture progress reset. All of which means that the Harugumo has successfully, with some assistance from, well, people like that Jean Bart Black down there, who's about to eat a whole bunch of torpedoes, but the enemy team are in firm control of 3 caps. And Sleepo Beepo's team are taking all day flipping 1. And of course he did get the Jean Bart. Unfortunately, the wreck of the Jean Bart is ensuring that the Massachusetts and the Thunderer to the rear are probably going to be completely safe, or possibly not. Maybe the Thunderer? No, out of range. The torpedoes have expired. What's amusing here is that Sleepo Beepo has been spotted, of course, while he's raining death and destruction down on the Massachusetts. He's a destroyer spotted in open water, and nobody's shooting at him. He has taken some fire, and so far no actual hits, from the Massachusetts secondaries, and he did briefly get targeted by 1 person, and then just as quickly untargeted. And that could actually be the Harugumo launching torpedoes at him, because that's the way the priority target skill works. It only tracks people who are aiming at you with their guns. So if the Harugumo was aiming at him and switched to torpedoes, that could have explained why he was being targeted by 1 ship and then suddenly none. Or I could be completely overthinking it and he simply went undetected because as soon as he realised that the Massachusetts secondaries were hitting him, he popped his own smoke. And he's got the Massachusetts. Nice. The Hirugamo left it far too late to get out of that capsule. And this is the kind of a gunfight that you do want to get into with a Hirugamo. When it's shooting at somebody else. Even if it means you have to feed it a sacrificial Chungmu. But that's what we call acceptable losses, unless you're the one who happens to be in the Chungmu, in which case, sucks to be you. Unfortunately, the team paid for the kill on the Hirugamo, not just with the Chungmu, but also with their Ohio. Sleepo Beepo's team still have a kill lead, they're 2 kills ahead, but the point score is completely even. And the enemy team have 2 of the 4 caps, with Sleepo Beepo's team only in possession of capture point Delta to the north. They are, however, now flipping Charlie once again, only this time, if they could remember to, you know, stay there until it's flipped, that'd be great. Funnily enough, Sleepo Beepo has just left the cap circle. Then again, he was getting buzzed by the enemy carrier, so it's somewhat understandable. It looks like it's going to be down to the Yoshino to finish flipping. Sleepo Beepo is definitely going after that mines. And once again, he's untargeted. Is the mines trying to go undetected? I think it is. Too little too late. There's the Iron Strike talent. His guns are now firing even faster, which means that the mines is about to go down. And this will be Sleepo Beepo's 4th kill. There it is. Is Sleepo going to take the moment to... No, he's not. He's going after the Thunderer. Or he was. And then he realised... Oh, the Lexington. This is the right choice. I mean, you might be thinking, well look, there's an island there. He can keep the island between himself and the Thunderer and go for the Lexington, or keep the island between himself and the Lexington and go for the Thunderer. But that only works on the Thunderer. You can't hide from a carrier behind an island, so if he had continued maybe trying to get within torpedo range of the Thunderer, he would be fighting the Thunderer and the Lexington. This way, he only has to fight the Lexington. I mean, the Lexington's going to be attacking him anyway, so attack him back. And do it without being in a position where the Thunderer can shoot him. Now he is a tier 10 destroyer, and that is a tier 8 carrier. So he has, with a reinforced AA sector, managed to shoot down a grand total of 1 of the Lexington's aircraft. Shot down another one as they went overhead. Oh, he's going to get him. He did. There's the Kraken Unleashed. That puts the team well over 100 points ahead. The caps are even. The Yoshino did finish flipping Charlie. Well done. Good boy, Yoshino. There are now only 2 surviving ships on the enemy team. They're outnumbered 3-1, although the Lexington's aircraft are still up. And they're going for the Tirpids. Huh. Unusual choice. I suppose it's possible that the Lexington was thinking, well, a third of a rocket attack plane squadron isn't going to finish off a full health or nearly full health Z-52, so we went after the low health Tirpitz instead, but, well, they're probably not going to finish off a low health Tirpitz either. And he's had all of his aircraft shot down and the Tirpitz is still fighting. Meanwhile, the Thunderer is down, finished off by the Hindenburg. That just leaves the other Thunderer who's managed to run himself aground while shooting at the Tirpitz Black. Now you'd think that the Thunderer would be finishing off the low health Tirpitz, but, well, he's seen the destroyer closing in, the red mist has descended, he's got the high explosive loaded, and he's going for Sleepo Beepo. Sleepo Beepo, of course, thinks to himself, it'll be fine. The Thunderer opens up, and oof. That's a lot of damage. He breaks out the Flex Seal tape, sorts out the fire. He's still got 2 charges left on his smoke screen. There's no way the Thunderer is going to get out of shooting range, and he isn't spotting it. The Tirpitz can see the Thunderer, so everybody can see the Thunderer. And it's here where sanity prevails. Sleepo Beepo stops, slows, pops his smoke. The Thunderer bitch slaps him again, sets 2 fires, which will kill him, unless he ends the match by finishing off the Thunderer and claiming kill number 6. So that ended up being what looked like a pretty comfortable win for Sleepo Beepo, and it's certainly no damage record with 145,000 damage done. but it was anything but comfortable. Sleepo Beepo was pretty much defending the rest of his team from almost the entire enemy team for the first half of that battle, while putting pressure on Cap Circle Charlie, and eventually successfully taking it after taking care of the enemy radar cruiser and scaring off the Harugamo that was counter-capping. And at that point it was just a question of buying time for the team to come to his aid, something they were a little bit too keen to do, which is the kind of problem that most destroyer captains wish they had. But from that point on, he basically just turned into a demon and ended up with 6 kills, having a great game. So, congratulations, Sleepo Beepo. Everybody else, you know the score by now. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.